Everything continues since Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon left the Order to train Anakin. If you don't know how we got to this point in history, go watch the video of the first part on my channel. The years following their departure from the Jedi Order marked the beginning of a new era for Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and young Anakin. Freed from the confines of the Jedi Code, they discovered deeper ways to connect with the Force. Each morning began with group meditation, but not in the traditional Jedi manner. The Force, manifesting as Anakin's father, guided them through exercises that transcended mere contemplation. They learned to merge completely with the energy surrounding them, sensing every vibration of the universe. Qui-Gon, who had always been attuned to the living Force, realized his prior understanding barely scratched the surface. Without lightsabers, they developed extraordinary abilities. Anakin taught his masters how to manipulate matter on a molecular level, a technique his father had shown him as a child. Obi-Wan discovered a natural talent for telepathy and precognition, while Qui-Gon mastered the art of healing through the Force. They traveled from planet to planet in a modest ship, helping those in need. On Felucia, they learned from the natives how to communicate with the local flora. On Ilum, instead of constructing lightsabers, they discovered they could channel the energy of kyber crystals directly through their bodies. On Datomir, they studied the ancient arts of the Night Sisters, not to practice them, but to better understand the balance between light and dark. Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Count Dooku was consumed by bitterness. The departure of his former apprentice, Qui-Gon, had devastated him. Palpatine, sensing this weakness, began whispering half-truths about how the Jedi Council had failed, how their rigidity had driven Qui-Gon away. Slowly, Dooku fell into the grasp of the dark side, convinced the Jedi Order needed to be destroyed to be rebuilt. As the years passed, the trio's powers grew exponentially. Anakin, now a teenager, could lift entire fleets with the Force. Obi-Wan developed the ability to create illusions so realistic they could deceive entire armies. Qui-Gon could heal mortal wounds with a single thought. The Force, as both father and teacher, showed them that true power lay not in light or dark, but in balance and complete understanding of the Force itself. When rumors of war began, the trio sought to mediate conflicts. On Anshin, they averted a civil war without spilling a drop of blood, using their telepathic abilities to foster dialogue. On Onderon, they dismantled a separatist conspiracy by exposing corruption without violence. However, not every situation could be resolved peacefully. At times, they faced separatist forces. During these battles, their combat style was unlike anything seen before. Anakin could disable entire armies of droids by disassembling them with the Force. Obi-Wan created illusions that confused entire fleets, and Qui-Gon formed impenetrable force fields to protect the innocent. News of their deeds reached the Jedi Council. Yoda and Mace Windu watched with a mixture of awe and concern as these three individuals wielded the Force in ways that challenged everything they thought they knew. When the Clone Wars officially broke out, the trio found themselves in a unique position. They were neither Jedi nor Separatists. They were something new, something different. The Force had made them its true champions, defenders of balance in a galaxy spiraling into chaos. Master Yoda had been following rumors of the legendary protectors for months. Every report reaching the temple spoke of extraordinary feats: force fields shielding entire cities, droid fleets deactivated without a single shot fired, and miraculous healing of the wounded. Deciding to seek them out was not easy. For days, Yoda meditated in his chambers, seeking clarity in the Force. The visions he received were unsettling: dark shadows looming over the Republic, the Jedi Order teetering on the brink of collapse, and three luminous figures maintaining balance amidst the chaos. Finding the former Jedi proved challenging. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin followed no predictable patterns, appearing where they were most needed, as if the Force itself guided their steps. Finally, Yoda found them on Dantooine, an agricultural planet recently targeted by separatist attacks. Upon landing, he encountered a surprising sight. The three Force Masters stood in a field, surrounded by refugees. They did not use their powers ostentatiously. Instead, they seemed to merge with the energy around them. Crops regrew in their wake. The injured healed at their touch, and an aura of peace emanated from their presence. The ensuing conversation was revealing. Yoda witnessed something he had never seen in his 900 years. the Force manifesting as a conscious entity. As the former knights shared their wisdom, the Jedi Master felt a deeper connection to the Force than ever before, as if he were witnessing its true nature for the first time. "Different, your path is, from what we thought," Yoda admitted, his voice heavy with humility. "Mistaken, perhaps we were, in our understanding of the Force. But when he asked for their help in the war, the Guardians were clear. They would not be weapons in a political conflict. Their mission was to protect and heal, not destroy." The presence of the Force, manifesting as Anakin's father, seemed to intensify during this conversation, as if validating their stance. Yoda's return to Coruscant was a journey of deep reflection. The sage's words echoed in his mind. The Force is not a tool, it is a companion. Centuries of Jedi tradition seemed to waver in light of this new perspective. In the council chamber, Yoda shared his experience, but was met with skepticism. Mace Windu and the other masters could not conceive of a different way to understand the Force. Some even suggested these powerful individuals were dangerously close to the dark side. "Blind we are," Yoda finally declared. "If we cannot see that much to learn, we still have." These words proved prophetic. Soon after, Order 66 demonstrated how vulnerable the Jedi Order truly was, and how accurate these extraordinary masters' vision of the Force had been. In the months that followed, the trio traveled from system to system, not as soldiers, but as protectors. On Ryloth, they evacuated entire cities before separatist bombings. On Kashyyyk, they created force shields so powerful that separatist ships could not penetrate them. Their fame grew, and their mere presence began to deter attacks. Palpatine, seeing his plans threatened, met with Dooku in secret. "The existence of these three poses a greater threat than the entire Jedi Order combined," he hissed. "It is time to execute Order 66. The clones turned against their Jedi generals. Across the galaxy, Jedi fell. Mace Windu was overwhelmed in the temple, and other masters were eliminated on various worlds. Only Yoda managed to escape, immediately seeking out the three protectors. The Force, manifesting more clearly than ever, brought the four survivors together. The Empire must be stopped," declared the luminous entity. "The time to act has come." What followed was a lightning campaign against the Empire. On Mustafar, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon dismantled an entire Imperial base without bloodshed, simply disabling its systems with the Force. On Kamino, Anakin and his father undid the clones' programming, freeing them from Imperial control. The final battle on Coruscant was almost anticlimactic. The Emperor and Dooku, confident in their dark side power, faced the four warriors in the Senate chamber, but against the combined power of Yoda, the three protectors, and the very manifestation of the Force, they stood no chance. Palpatine was stripped of his connection to the Force, while Dooku, finally seeing the truth, surrendered. In the ruins of the old order, a new era emerged. The Jedi Temple was rebuilt, but this time as a center of learning open to all Force-sensitive beings. The new order pledged allegiance not to the Senate, but to the Force itself and the balance of the universe. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin became the first masters of this new order, teaching that the Force was not a tool to be controlled, but a companion to be understood and respected. The presence of Anakin's father continued to guide new generations, and for the first time in millennia, the galaxy knew true balance in the Force.